Hello, this is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field report. It's been a busy week on all fronts: planting, spraying, hoeing, side dressing even in some cases. When it comes to making service calls on challenging stands, this week, I'm not sure I've ever seen this many variables. We have buried plants from the dust storm. We have frost damage on both corn and beans, PPO damage on beans, some pretty impressive hail damage on beans. It's been a while since I've seen this much replant due to hail damage on small beans. No doubt, the biggest challenge was that heavy rain, the 27th, 28th, some areas as little as a half inch up to an inch and a half, and reports of in about 30 minutes. That was a hard driving rain, caused some serious erosion in all farming systems. No doubt, our tilled fields took it the worst. There's some cuts out there that have to be filled in. You can't drive across them. But we also have some severe damage in our strip till and our no-till. Some of the strip till fields with slope have been dealt some pretty tough erosion issues there. The strips will need to be fixed, or they're just going to keep cutting down those strips all year. In more than one no-till field, the waterways were overrun, and we cut ditches next to the waterways, and again, creating some challenges in those fields as well. Now, some growers believe they didn't need waterways in some of their fields because of no-till. It has seemed to be by itself handling the water. But after this event, a couple of them told me they realized that they need to put the waterways back in. That was just too much water too quick. Now, many of these fields are already planted, and growers plan to fix these gullies in the fall. My recommendation to the Pest team is to map these gullies for the safety of everyone else who will be in these fields. When you're side dressing, ground spraying, or even harvesting, these gullies can be hard to see in tall corn. Hitting some of these at normal operating speeds could cause some equipment damage as well as safety concerns. That hard driving rain followed by a red light, low temperatures is the event that is causing the most service calls that were going on. Crops planted in April 24th through the 26th seem to be hit the hardest, and definitely that Saturday and Sunday, I would say, are the 2 days that are going to probably end up being the days we shouldn't have planted here in central Illinois. In corn, we are seeing some seed chilling effects and definitely our spike down late emergers. But for both corn and soybeans, on certain soil types, we're dealing with some significant crust after that hard rain. Now the guys, they're pretty quick with the rotary hoe, and they have done wonders to corn stands, cracking that crust before it got too hard. We did use a planter to hoe some no-till beans where we could. Some fields just needed to be replanted completely, while others we could kind of daub them in here and there. Now, thickening up bean stands above 80,000 is usually not a yield improvement, but it will improve your weed control. It does make a difference on how you plan to control the weeds in these low populations, especially if you're in 30-inch rows and you're in non-GMO. When it comes to replanting hailed beans, be sure you and your insurance adjuster agree about planting versus thickening up a stand. Pest teams need to watch for cutworm feeding. The first strong flight in our traps was April 15th, meaning we'll see some shot holes feeding next week. Now, any fields planted into cover, whether that's cover crop or winter annuals, are at risk of the moths selecting to lay their eggs in them. Even if you worked the winter annuals after April 15th, before planting, the eggs were laid, and you'll need to be on the lookout for cutworm. Guys are firing up on fungicide on wheat. We have had an uptick in true armyworm in our traps the last 5 to 10 days, so pest scouts need to watch those wheat fields. A few guys are starting to side dress nitrogen in corn that is up. Don't forget, if you deviated from the nutrient plan like no dry fertilizer or reduced spring rates, the checkbook needs to be balanced here at side dressing. For instance, if you cut 200 pounds of DAP out or you switch to triple 04060, you're going to need to make up that 36 pounds of N somewhere, and right now is your last chance to get that done, most likely. A few guys have asked about side dressing corn that isn't up yet, what's called blind side dressing. I assume that means they're running out of things to do. I do like to see the corn up so I can assess the stands for the projected yield before side dressing. But if you're going to blind side dress, I would basically go with full yield, planning on that perfect stand. As we get more nitrate tests in, we'll be able to make some predictions on how N-friendly this year is or isn't. But at this point, we just don't have enough data in to make that call. I have to say, I've been impressed on how the pest teams are staying on top of this year's stands. Replant calls have been made quickly, and the amount of corn salvaged by timely hoeing is pretty impressive. So keep up the good work out there. I think a lot of corn went into the ground in great conditions this week, as many growers are approaching the finishing line. Corn planting went great here this week as we finished up the corn college plots, and the crew is also moving closer to the end of our planting season. Soil testing crews are hard at the summer sampling. Don't forget to turn in your summer testing needs. To stay up to date, check out our website at croptechinc.com and subscribe to our podcast, Boots in the Field Report. Keep her safe, keep her moving.